Welcome, paper crafting friends. Today I'm going to walk through my December daily junk journal. So this is a new project for me, very similar to a 6x8 album, but it's all handmade. So I bound this book. Actually, I haven't bound my signatures or these two books that you see in here yet, but I'm going to. Some of this stitching is faux, and I made this tassel of beads. I love this. So the idea for this came from a amazing junk journaler, Johanna. I'm going to link her below if you want to see an actual real artist at work. But this is my interpretation of it. It is very similar to scrapbooking. The only difference that I see, well, there's a couple of differences between a junk journal and just scrapbooking, memory keeping, whatever you want to call it, from, my old school scrapbooking days. Sorry, as I get this ribbon off of here, is that it's more, there's a paint, which I'm not going to do. And I think there's also a lot more hand stitching, a lot more handmade, focus on handmade things and art. So I have made a lot of beginner mistakes. It should not have come apart this way. I should have, this piece of paper should have been longer, but I'm learning. I've made 3 more since this one, so I've come a long way. And I filmed this on December 1st, and you're probably watching it quite a bit after that. I've been working on this all along in December, and my intention was to go chronologically. So, best intentions, right? So, we were supposed to be in New York City December 1st through the 3rd, and that trip has now been pushed back towards later in the month. So this is not going to be a chronological junk journal. Like I intend, that's what I get for trying a chronological project. It is not my thing. So I created this with some Ali Edwards pattern paper. This was from the kit this year, and I used it to make this flap. This is from Ali, also from last year. I'm going to wait to see what I end up putting in here. So part of the junk journaling is receipts and bits of pieces of paper. Most don't use photos, some do. I definitely am going to use photos, which is why this one for New York City is a little bit larger, because I want to add a bunch of photos. I love this vellum. This was from Paper Person Shop last year. It has like Broadway and Second Avenue, and it just reminds me very much of Times Square and that whole thing. So that's why I chose that. Eventually, um, I might put some hidden journaling in here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that flap, but I just like that it's there. All right, some of the paper are ripped up from my Archer and Olive, one that I'm not going to use that's undated. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this paper or if I'm going to do just regular white cardstock, or I'm going to remove it all together and just use the base of the notebook. We'll see how it goes. So junk journaling, there's a lot of little clipped in things, lots of little hidden pockets, small bits where you can handwrite, or in my case, some of this is going to be handwritten, some I think I'm going to type out just because it's easier for me. This page was created with some handmade paper that I had on hand. I had an old music book that I ripped out a page from. There's a pocket here. Eventually I'll put a little story or a photo in here. This little tag, I added that button, so I might stamp on it or write on it. We'll see how that goes. And then this is December 1st, which is today. So this morning I sat down and I did this. And I just did some stamping across the middle just to make myself a border here. I stamped the date, and then I just wrote, these are the things that we're planning to do this season, what I'm grateful for, what I'm looking forward to, folded it in half and stuck it in here. What I love about that is that I can then stamp on my desk and I don't have to worry about working in an actual book. All right, on this side, again, there's a pocket here. This card is just paper clipped here. It's not glued. The magic is glued down, so that's a done deal. So I'm thinking maybe photo, maybe some stamping, and again, some hidden journaling, not hidden. I think it's more like little treasures that you find, and that's the difference between junk journaling and then a straightforward 6x8 album. And then as I say that, here is a very straightforward 6x8 type of scrapbook page. Basically, this is some place that I love in a town near me and a little story. I love the texture of steel dyes and the ombre effect of these colors. I think this is really beautiful, and it just, the reason that I added it in here, one, it was a Christmas story, and the other thing is it just has a more handmade look. And here's a little stray bow. I made a whole bunch of these and I'm going to add these to the book later on. This is definitely going to be a create as I go. Here I have just a plain piece of ledger paper and it's clipped in there. I think I know what I'm going to do with that, but we'll see. I think I'm going to add pictures here. On this side, I created a multi-layer pocket. So here's a project tracker from an old notebook, and this is just paper clipped in. So an envelope and a tag, and there's my story starter, and it has a second and a third level. So here is this little snow globe. This is Ali Edwards. Nuestras Navidades, that's Laura by Laura, I believe. And I love that little touch. And this little hidden pocket with the village, this is Heidi Swap. And this is very junk journal to me, to be able to write something back here or put in a photo. Okay, I'll put that back later. And then back here, another opportunity or a place to write some story. And then that fits right in there. This is the last page for this signature of this little book. I made a little booklet. I'm hoping to fill it with maybe 2 photos that are this size. And then on this side, I have a place for story. On the pattern paper, I used these, they're flat sticky brads that are silver. And I used those to give the pattern paper some texture. And that's what I'm hoping to use this for. Photos, yes. Stories, yes. But also some place to play with paper and layer and textured things. I'm really looking forward to creating this project. And this is going to get, I can tell, whoops, I lost another piece. That was a little stick pin. Once I glue everything down and I'm sure how things are going to go, that won't happen. But for now, it's kind of hodgepodge together. And I'm going to learn as I go, I guess. So this is the second signature. Again, when I finish them, I will sew them into the book like this. So they won't be just completely loose. This one is another Ali Edwards paper. I was determined to use the kit this year. I think it's a beautiful kit this year, but I was determined that I'm going to use the new things and add a bunch of stuff that I've had forever as well. So another thing about junk journaling is they actually use junk. So packaging and different things like that. So this is packaging also from Ali Edwards. And I added that big giant brad to it, a little bit of twine. This is from the kit this year. This is a piece of wood from Michael's that I've had forever. I just created this interesting little flap. I think I'm going to slide a photo here eventually and fill this with either story or photos. Here I have a clip ready in case I want to clip something here. And this comes out. This is just a vellum tag with a sewn on label. Again, photo and story, I think, or art, right? This one, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this, but this is going to make it so easy for me to stamp or do whatever I want on this on my desktop rather than working in the book. And then I made this little flap. This red cup is from Ali Edwards too, and then I put the Feliz Navidad on top of it. This one might be about my first Starbucks this season. I don't have very many of them, Starbucks coffee, but I probably will go get it tomorrow on the 2nd. December 2nd is a good day for my first Starbucks peppermint mocha. All right. This one I left as a completely blank slate. So I created this file folder effect. I've clipped a couple things in here. a leftover snowflake, the, what do you call this? The negative image of the snowflake, I guess. A cute little gingham envelope. We'll see where that goes. On this side, I want to do something super artistic. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Uh, Probably a repeated shape, I'm thinking, but who knows? Maybe rows and rows of little snowflakes. Not sure. And I left myself a place for writing. Here's another pocket. In this pocket, I have family favorites. I love this little list, and I love these colors, and I love how it coordinates with this circle. I don't know where this is from because I've had it for so long, but it's candy canes and flannel blankets and matching pajamas, notes to Santa, all those things that I remember. And some of these things we still do, wrapping gifts, game night. We have a die cut here just for a punch of color. I might write something on the back of it. It says Felices Fiestas. And then a little folder. This is old. I think this is Felicity Jane. And then I added this clip with a little sewn tab there just to give it a little more of a handmade look. And again, I can do photos and different things here. This one is just completely decorative. I just thought this was beautiful. I'm loving this gold chipboard. It has like almost a bronze feel to it. That's what I love about it, that it's not like super bright, flashy gold. And this card, I think, yes, everything on here is Allie Edwards from this year. I did a really good job using up my kit, which I'm very happy about. Here is the other side of that packaging. That's the other side of the gingerbread. So you have it here, and then here's the other side. These are older things too, actually a mix, right? I don't know when the gingerbread came out. This gingerbread is Allie from this year. This card, I love this card. This is Paper Person Shop from last year. And it says it's cookie time, and then it has all these details about making cookies. So I know that this is a story I'm going to have because I'm going to be baking Christmas cookies with a good friend of mine who's an amazing baker. And I'm really looking forward to that day. I know I'll have a lot of photos and stories, and maybe I'll put my favorite cookie here or something. I don't know. And then I just held down my, the gingerbread is actually stuck to this part of the vellum, and with a little bit of glue right underneath that little cookie, or what looks like a cookie to me. And then I cut the vellum pocket with pinking shears and added some stitching. On the right, because this side is so much, on the right, something really plain, again from Allie this year. And then I just clipped these two little tags that I made and sewed with a gold star. And then the last page is going to be story. So I'm hoping to journal right after Christmas is over, how the season went, what were my favorites, the highs, the lows, the things that went terrible, because something always goes wrong, right? Yeah, but I love the tactile feel of this project. I am enjoying, I enjoyed just making the base of it. So it is going to get a lot more extra. I could tell. I could tell that as I tell my stories, I have all these ideas for very textured, heavily sewing, little different things that I find in my stash that are very special. And I am going to fill the heck out of this book with hidden little things. And that is what I love about it. It is a little treasure hunt. And that's what makes it different from any other 6x8 that I have ever made. So I am enjoying this process. I am definitely going, well, I already made another junk journal for January out of an actual hardcover bound book. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be sharing that in January, probably towards the end of January, because I like to give myself a little bit of time for the making before I show it to you. I am far from an expert. I am a total beginner at this, and I made a ton of mistakes on this book, but it is still going to be such a little treasure. And I'm really loving being a beginner at something. It's kind of cool. And the one thing you won't see me do is paint. So if you're into paint, or painted junk journals, I am not your person, but I will link up people that are. All right, alongside this, I am still going strong in my Dash notebook. This is my easy projects. This is my relaxing project. This is my, I want to do art, paper art, uh, and spend tons and tons of time on one spread project. And I'm enjoying going back and forth between the two processes. The next video will be the dash, so I will probably have about at least 3 or 4, maybe more, pages that I've done in the dash, and that'll come next week. All right, thanks always for watching and your kind comments. I always appreciate hearing from you. All right, I hope you're having a wonderful December daily season. Merry Christmas y Feliz Navidad.